Hi and welcome to my workshop, and today I want to show you how I make a simple serving tray. This is a tray I originally made for my barbecue or braai stuff. In South Africa we call a barbecue a braai, and it's to bring out all those things from the kitchen to my barbecue area. This serving tray is meant to be a tool. It's not meant to be fancy, etc. The measurements are not that important. It is the process of how it is assembled and how easy it is to assemble it. There is one piece of equipment that I use, which you will require if you are going to be assembling it the way I am doing it, and that is, this is a very simple and very cheap pocket hole jig. It is not one of these big name brands. It is I can't even remember the name of the company that makes this one. And for those guys in South Africa, I found this one at Builder's Warehouse in South Africa. This is used simply to assist the gluing process. I'm going to be assembling mine from these pieces of reclaimed pallet wood, and the lengths you need depends on the size that you are going to be making. You don't need fancy stuff because this is not a fancy piece of equipment. But let's go ahead and I'll show you how we assemble this. I am recording this on my GoPro. I'm not going to make this fancy, so do excuse the audio quality if it does vary from time to time. Just a quick note on using pallets, reclaimed wood from pallets. You have to ensure that the wood you are using is safe. Not all pallets are safe because some are treated with methyl bromide, which is not good for the human body. And the easiest way to know that is to look out for the stamp on your pallet. And if there is a letter MB, it's methyl bromide treated, and you don't want to use that for your project. I want to show you one of these stamps. There you go, there's a stamp. Now it says HT at the bottom there. Don't worry about the top, those are just the country codes and where it comes from. That HT means it has been heat treated and it's not methyl bromide, not to be confused with the DB stamp. The DB just says that it's been debarked before it was treated or whatever. But if it is MB stamped, avoid it. Do not use it for any of your projects. It is poisonous. This is 69 millimeters. For those guys working in inches, you'll have to convert that, but it doesn't really matter. It's just for me, so I can know it's 69. I'm going to round that to about 70. So I know it's going to be about 28 centimeters wide. And to get it to there, I need 4 planks. 2 of them on the sides are then going to be 14 centimeters, and if I add about, let's say, 36 centimeters to that, I get a total width of 50 centimeters plus minus. So that is the measurements I'm going to be working on. So the first thing to do is to set up this length. I'm going to make this 36 centimeters on my mitre chop saw. I've set up a stop block here on my mitre saw. I have measured it down to 36 centimeters. So that is going to be my length. So I know every time I push in one of these planks, it's going to be exactly 36 centimeters. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is just cut this off so it's nice and fairly square. There we go. So we have a nice edge. And now we go ahead and we cut 4 of these lengths. Put it up to the stop block, and there we go. We have our 4 planks cut to 36 centimeters in length. It's 277. So I need to make those 277 millimeters. And now I'm going to see one of my offcuts, see if I'm going to fit it in there. This one will work. Got another offcut here. I can see it's longer than that one, so it's also going to fit in for 277 millimeters. Like that and like that. I've set this up now for 277 millimeters. Now, a lot of people, or some people, And in the beginning, I also wondered how this worked. How do you measure this? I know that my blade of my miter saw cuts right to this edge. So I can measure directly from that edge to the edge of my stop block, and I then know that that is going to be 277 millimeters fitting in there. Always, obviously, when doing measurements, etc., working under this blade, even though you have this protector, make sure it's not plugged in. Normally, a lot of people say, and it is true, that when you do a cut, you should leave your blade at the bottom until it stops spinning to prevent a kickback from this piece of material. What can happen is it can get caught on there and it can bounce and it can shoot back. And though it is rare that it does happen, best practice is to wait until this blade has stopped before you lift it. And there we have the basic shape of our tray. I don't want to get these parts mixed up again, and the way to do that is to turn everything over, and bearing in mind that you have to take all of this and flip it over to this side to get it so that it is exactly turned around. And there we go. So we now have the back. The back is not as nice as the front because obviously we chose the parts on the front to look nice. I grabbed my pencil and I am going to make a, let's say, a triangle shape. I make a triangle shape, yeah. This one jumped. Doesn't matter how many marks you make, as long as it's distinguishable. And to differentiate between these two, I'm going to make a triangle type shape on that side and a circle type shape on this side. That way I know this part needs to always be on this side and this part needs to be on this side. On this side we've got a bit more of a gap, so we've got a bit of height there which is touching there. So right here on this knot is where our problem area is. So I'm going to address that one first. And how I'm going to do that, I've got a little it's not square, but it's just to make sure that when I put a part in here, I don't have a vice grip on my table. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to use the sander to sand off. The belt sander is going to sand off that piece. Just a hair, and then I'm going to put it back and fit it until I see it fit nicely. I'm going to put it into its corner. Obviously be very careful with your sander, especially if you've got high grit. I've got 80 grit paper or sanding belt in that one, so it takes off material very quickly. Now I can see my gap there is so tiny. I'm happy with that. I like that. Now for those looking at my joining procedure here, I think, but why don't I just put that on a jointer? Yes, I could if I had a jointer. The stuff I'm doing with the most basic of tools, and I want to show you how to put this together with basic tools. I don't have a jointer, and unfortunately most of your DIY guys also don't have jointers. And yes, there may be other ways of getting a perfect joint with a router, etc. But again, a router even is a little more of a specialized tool, and some of your DIY guys don't even have a router. So I am trying to keep things as simple as possible. Now the next part we need to do is to get pocket holes into these so that we can join them onto these planks on the sides. I've got the pocket hole jig clamped in here, right on the edge. I'm going to use both holes. Yeah, I suppose you can get away with just one hole, but I'm going to put in two. And there you go. Our pocket holes are made. Let's take these clamps to one side. Take off the jig. Makes a lot of dust. And there you go. Two nice pocket holes. And that's just to hold that onto the edge. Do bear in mind, as I said, this is just to keep the glue up nice and tight until the glue is dry, because the glue is stronger than these screws are going to be. Yes, I do know that there are pocket hole jig systems out there which are a lot simpler to use and a lot easier. Maybe not simpler, but easier, because purely because of their clamping system. But you know, this is cheap, and it was available, and I got it. It works. It does the trick. There you go. Simple, easy. Unfortunately, a lot of the DIY guys cannot afford the very expensive stuff. This little jig, this pocket hole jig is dirt cheap in comparison to some of the big name brands. We need to attach them to these end pieces, but we need to do that on a flat surface. And I do know for a fact that my workbench is not completely flat. So let me show you my solution to that. A 16mm MDF, cut to size, and it is nice and flat. So it's a very nice surface to work on. There we go. Now all our pieces all mixed up. And because we have a drawing on the back, we can quickly figure out which pieces need to fit where. And we are going to screw in those pocket holes. Now, if you are, let's call it lazy, you can just screw it in directly. I like to glue things together, so I am going to first apply some glue. I'm going to pop some glue onto there. I'm not even going to spread the glue around. You just need enough glue. If it squeezes out, you know that you have enough glue. Hold in place with a clamp here, nice screw head, pop that in there, give it some pressure, and there you go. And that's how you carry on, and we are going to attach all of them. I often get the question, how much glue? My answer is always rather too much than too little. And for those wondering about my finger, no, it's not a woodworking injury. My finger got a little piece got cut off when I was, I think, about 6 or 7 years old in a bicycle accident. So now that our glue up is completed on this side, we can unclamp everything. There we go. Obviously there will be a little glue from the squeeze out. We're just going to clean that up. I like a lot of glue. And we just squeeze it in there. There we go. And now I'm going to do the other one on the far side first, while squeezing. Just get the camera slightly moved to that side while squeezing it all together. And there you go. Now our tray is just a flat panel at this stage. There we go. Let me just clean up this quick. You don't want to leave glue on your working surfaces, because you'll come back and have a very hard time removing it once it's dry. I have one general rule in my workshop that says if you're not using it, don't plug it in. So you've got two options here. You can put in handles here and you can carry your tray like that, but in my case I am going to add in blocks at the back here. Let me get a piece and show you what I mean. This is an offcut. It's not even cut to the length or anything. It's just to show you what I want to do. I want to attach it there. I'm going to cut it so it just covers that pocket hole on both sides and a little in, and it will be cut off on this side. Also two screws this side, 2 screws that side. It's just to hold it there, and it'll raise it so that you can use this edge as a handle. Okay, I've cut these 2 pieces, and they will now go onto the back. I'm going to attach them there, one on each side. Let me sand them down quick first. Now before I continue and attach these edges, here you can see a little lip formed. It's tiny, but it is there. And I'm going to use the belt sander to just sand that away. If you've got 80 grit sandpaper in your belt sander, it takes that off pretty quick. This side is fine. Do you need to glue this? No, probably not, but I like glue, so I am going to apply some glue. That should be more than enough to hold whatever this will ever hold in its life. Countersink them. Yes, I'm putting a fairly deep countersink because I want the screws totally out of the way. Short enough. And there you go. That's how I'm going to attach both sides, and I'll show you once I'm done. I'm pretty much done with assembly. Let me just get this stuff out of the way. There we go. Now, if you wish, which I am probably also going to be doing, let's just give this a quick finishing sand. I'm going to be using the finishing sander just to give it a quick once over, just to get those little sharp edges. You see there's splintering, and you don't want your fingers caught on that because it's going to damage skin. So I'm just going to soften the edges a little bit, soften the top a little bit, and I'm pretty much done. From there, it's absolutely your choice whether you want to treat it, stain it, oil it, or wax it. It's up to you. There you go, guys. I'm Rianru, and that is how you make a simple serving tray.